Если б знали вы, как мне дороги подмосковные вечера. Hello, comrades, and welcome back to Ushanka Show. Здравствуйте, дорогие товарищи. My name is Sergey, and I was born in USSR. Меня зовут Сергей, и я родился в Советском Союзе. So today we're returning to the topic of the most important documents in the Soviet Union for the citizens. So this is part 2. As we used to say, без бумажки ты какашка, а с бумажкой человек. Which translates, without papers, you're a piece of dookie. With the papers, you're a human. But first of all, I would like to answer a couple of questions that popped below the previous video. The first question, were you expected to bring your passport with you every time you left your house? And the answer is no. Actually, it was hardly ever that we took our passport somewhere. My mother kept it in a special location where we kept all our documents. So no, you didn't have to have your passport with you. It was only like if you go for some, you're getting a job or you are applying for a new apartment or something like that, then you bring your passport. Otherwise, no, we weren't required to carry any IDs on us. Another question was that why Russia was still using old Soviet documents for years. So there was a picture of the Soviet passport was still issued in 1994, 3 years after the Soviet Union was no more. So the viewer was asking about this photo. So this is a passport which issued in January 25th of 1994. So it said it's 3 years after Soviet Union disappeared. But this not is Soviet passport like for inside. This is actually the photo of Soviet passport for traveling overseas. Well, it's not only Russia. Same situation existed in Ukraine. As you probably know, disassembly of the Soviet Union wasn't really like well-planned in advance event. It just happened like overnight. So we had probably millions of pre-printed documents and no new documents. So they were utilizing old Soviet documents to keep on issuing IDs. For example, my passport for traveling abroad, I used it all the way till 1997. It's expired in 1997. So I traveled in 1995 to America with the Soviet passport. It just had a small ink stamp on the front, says property of Ukraine. And another question was about Komsomol, our youth communist organization. Was it something that young Soviet of the right age would be enrolled almost by default, or something when a young person would generally enroll if you were a complete doofus, or did the kids had a genuine enthusiasm? I don't know about earlier years. Probably was way more enthusiasm in the 40s, especially probably 30s. Maybe some in 50s. In 80s, wasn't much enthusiasm going on. It was totally your decision. I would say in my class we probably had 50-50. The only reason I joined Komsomol is because I was told they accept only Komsomol members into the college. So I just had to join. But otherwise, like my father never joined Komsomol. I believe he was forced to be joined in army because his officer wanted to have 100% Komsomol members. Okay, and now back to the topic of the most important Soviet documents. Actually, I would like to correct myself. There was another document that every youth in Soviet Union would get before getting a passport. So first document was birth certificate. Second one will be your certificate of finishing school. So as I mentioned before, we went to school for 10 years, but you can quit school after 8 years and you will get a document just like this one you see. It called свидетельство о неполном среднем образовании. So this is document about incomplete middle degree. So high degree will be, or higher degree, there'll be college, university, and middle degree, as we call it, will be your 10 years. 8 years, it's called неполное, so it's not complete. And this is actually my ID. I apologize for that red ink it was next to the stamp, and a stamp got transferred. So here's my свидетельство об образовании, education certificate of finishing 8 grades. So my name was born in 1971, and that certifies that I was studying in school number 254, and I finished it in 1986. So that's a Chernobyl year, and I had good attitude and good behavior. And then there's the list of all the subjects that I studied and what it was my final degree. And might as well just let's go again through the subjects. Ukrainian language 5, Ukrainian literature 5, which is those are excellent. Russian language 4, Russian literature 5, algebra 4, geometry 5, history 5, basics of the Soviet state and law 4, geography 5, physics 4, chemistry 4, biology 5, foreign language, and it says in English 5, labor education 5, drawing 5, art 4, music and singing 5, which is hysterical because I can't sing, and physical education 4. And it was issued to me on June 11 of 1986. So that's my official document about finishing 8 grades of the Soviet school. So that was my 8 grades education certificate, свидетельство об неполном среднем образовании when I was 15. And by the way, thank you, Joshua, for this nice Photoshop. I like that. And now let's take a look at my full school degree, say high school diploma, I guess you can call it. Its official name is Аттестат о среднем образовании. So as we call it middle degree. So I received the certificate in 1988, 10 years after I started school when I was 17 years old. Okay, so here it is. Once again, my name, born in Kiev in July 1971. Kind of interesting why they want to provide that information. And this is a certificate that in 1988, I finished a complete course of middle general education school number 254 in Kiev. And I demonstrated excellent attitude and excellent behavior, and here's my grades. So once again, Ukrainian language 4, which is good. Ukrainian literature 4, Russian language 4, Russian literature 5, which is excellent. Algebra and initial analysis 4, geometry 4, computer science 5, history of the USSR 5, general history 5, social science 5, geography 5, biology 5, physics 5, astronomy 5, chemistry 4, foreign language as English 5, labor education 4, initial military preparedness 4, physical education 4. And then it says I also successfully finished the program about psychology of the family life. Don't remember anything of that. Technical drawing, yes. Music, and also some courses of chemistry and the basics of computer science. Kind of interesting add-on. Don't remember definitely psychology of the family life. So this is how the certificates of your education would look in the Soviet Union. Okay, moving along. So the next important document that every Soviet citizen had was Трудовая книжка, the labor book. Since it was illegal in Soviet Union not to work without valid reason for longer than 3 months, everyone had one of those labor books. And I already made several videos on this topic. We covered in quite detail labor book of the collective farm worker, my distant relative Nila. I also have the labor book of my mom, and she gave it to me, and this is actual cover. And I'm planning to make a separate video to talk in detail about her work experience, her work career in Soviet Union. And when you join labor force, you probably will join also the labor union, профсоюз. So you also will get a профсоюз ID. This is the cover of labor union ID, or we call it профсоюзный билет. And this is how the document looks inside. This is actually, once again, my mother's профсоюзный билет. She was born in 1948 and she became union member in 1968, so an age of 20. And this one is actually her second labor union ID, issued in 1987 when she got a different job. And here you could see the membership due stamps. So you pay your dues every month and you get a stamp in exchange when they glue into your ID. And I'm planning to make a separate video covering in detail these documents. This is what we're going to look at it right now. So we need to move on. And another important topic that I hope I will be able to cover one day is banking system in the Soviet Union, and especially so-called Sberkassa, Soviet Savings Bank. So we'll talk about it later, but right now we're going to take a look at our savings book. So here you see the cover of our сберегательная книжка. So that's savings book that you keep track how much money you have on your savings accounts. And as you may guess, we didn't have many choices where to keep your savings, or you can keep it cash at home, or you take your money to the only savings bank in the Soviet Union called Сберегательный банк, or quite often it was just called Sberkassa. Interest rate was 3% a year, and just to give you kind of the idea, my family, so both parents working, making about 300 rubles a month, kind of towards the end of 80s, we managed to save 5,000 rubles in 20 years. The next very important document, but of course not everyone in Soviet Union had it, was the Communist Party member ID, партбилет. So we just call it партийный билет, party ticket, party ID, and this is the cover and first page. And once again, you may guessed already, we had only one party available to join, the Communist Party of Soviet Union. Otherwise, you remain беспартийный, no party affiliation. And around 1990, at its peak, Communist Party in Soviet Union had 18.8 million members, and general population was about 288 million. So about 6.5% of the Soviet population were members of the Communist Party. I didn't say they were communists, but they were members of the Communist Party. And the last Soviet document we're going to talk about today is driver's license, водительские права. Not many Soviet citizens had driver's license because it was quite challenging to buy a car in the Soviet Union. In fact, only 35 people out of 1,000 owned a car in the Soviet Union in the middle of 1980s. And just like in the United States, you're supposed to have your driver's license, your водительские права when you're driving. They had 5 categories. A is motorcycle, B is a regular car, and that's what most people had. B, driver's license. C was like trucks. D, buses, and E, semi-trucks. Okay, дорогие товарищи, so this concludes our short review of the most important documents in the Soviet Union. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it and share with your friends. До свидания. Goodbye. Hey, by the way, cool merch for cool comrades is available at the Ushanka store at teespring.com. Just a friendly reminder that my book American Diaries is available on amazon.com, or shoot me an email if you would like to have a signed copy. Thank you! And if you love my channel and would like to show your support, please click on the link below this video and become the patron of the Ushanka Show. For as little as $1, you can help us grow and create the new, interesting videos about the life in Soviet Union.